Musical note to Guaido. Some songs sound like suicide notes, rattling skeletal bones, walking falsetto drones through the high-pitched struggle of the ghetto, a requiem for Soweto, where artists raise hope like crescendos from spirits living at their lowest keys. Inaudible hymns breathe in a cappella heartbeats, pumping the rendition of a broken pulse dumped in the chorus of the slums. We run like cassettes from substations, playing our own tracks with vibrato in the backyard, houses shaken from their skulls by the rhythm in the background. We sound like a key to a broken backroom ballad in the classical struggle that Guaido never fails to sing, a genre built from informal settling beats that stands like a bridge in the townships where we cross our fingers around musical hearts. That Zola is no demon possessed by the slums, composing hit tracks to beat on his women, that he doesn't conduct his portrait of children with the same strings he pulls to swear at women like Mpo. Mendoza's broken record is recovering from a stroke that left her as broken as his English, as frail as his body language. The anguish on his face is a musical compilation of mistakes, reminding me of when Speaky Riki Wiki went, saying, Giafana, we're all gonna die someday. Makes me wonder what monsters get produced with these tracks. Somebody tell Mshoza to bring the heartbeat black. Bleach can't fade the color of your lineage or the way your ebony arms danced around the word pity. We should call it pity. How black breaths fade on air. From stage lights to the gravesites, they path and pass on to the other side, to hang their boots with their mics, laced with starving chords beneath their tongues. Some found food for the soul beneath their baseline, so they rose like soprano to make music above the bread line. They sampled the sound of their grumbling stomachs into double platinum albums when they topped the charts. These double platinum stars drop into the dusty streets they came from. When a good example rots in a chorus behind bars, bricks, holding cells up from bodies crumbling down. Twinkle, twinkle, ndikokele, fallen star. How I wonder where your songs are.
At exactly 10 minutes to 11 o'clock, my faith has been restored in poetry. And I'm not just saying that because you're in studio. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying that because I need to be kind to you, but I'm dead serious. I mean, I was listening to this poem. From a content perspective, it spoke volumes. I mean, it spoke about the social conditions these blokes find themselves in, the types of lives that they lead, the influence that they have on society through their music, through their own personal lives. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That was what I was missing about poetry all along. You know, and it sounds great to hear that coming through from you. And it's not an idle, it's not an idle compliment. Really, I think that you deserve a round of applause, and that's why I played that round of applause for you. Digital, yes, because you don't have a big audience.
It's all right.
But yes, no, honestly, I really, really liked it. Of course, you will have to do another one. I'm so sorry, but that's just how it is. How long did it take you to put together that poem? Just as an idea.
It took me... I went in and out of writing it, right? Because sometimes you have to leave it for a while.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Look, research more. I think it took me about 4 months, 3 to 4 months, but not obviously daily. In and out of it. Where eventually I sat and I said, okay, it's coming together. It's coming together. I think. And then you just rewrite it one last time and you just leave it and you say, okay, fine, this is it. I'm happy with it. You recite it.
Because there is that performance element to poetry, right? And you've managed to really nail that very well, right? But simultaneously, there's that writing element to it, which is essential. And the one thing that I'm very surprised by is because I look into the publishing industry every now and again, because every now and again you think to yourself, maybe one day I should write a book. And you look at what people, what publishers are looking for. And obviously, if you put together a self-help book, then goodness me, you're going to make a few million.
Troops loaded with books, the hardcover. A marginalized spine of a girl child whose body's been written out of class, bookmarked in a chapter, saving her for later. Marriage turned to prey grounds for underaged wives who see the clock as a merry-go-round with the hands of time swing long arms to grab her youth. Daddy feet, jumping castles to fetch her inner laughter, giggling in childhood she's raised to play house in a grown-up yard where babies are stuck in the mud whilst men play groping touches with their developing parts. Little girls transformed into toys for adults, fingers too small for rings, can't be ringing wedding bells. You can't French kiss a mouth that opens big enough for baby bites. You can't walk down the aisle with a child whose first vowel must be said inside school grounds. The road that refines you is coarse, camaraderie of Nepal. You're coloring floors with pastel scrubs because the image of your life is a chore you're way too young to be sold for. Your lessons are dirty dishes and rust and wiping yourself from your master's dirty mouth. Read between her spattering lines. Your body is literate enough to travel with light. Your legs, Malala, are tiny little alphabets pronouncing big steps. You are a big word the universe drops its jaws to recite. The baggage in your tiny little body is heavy with meaning, packed with courage twice the size of your targeted skull. Amina, hatched before your time, laid too soon. There are many eggs growing in battlefields like you, with genetically modified wombs enlarged too soon. Minor, you are growing bigger than the life inside you. Minor, there is life at the end of your tunnel, where mines dump people like waste in Peru, but Senna refuses to decay. She's extracting gold from pieces of her growing mold and grinding it into poems. She's digging out the dirt from her garbage-cold home. Her tongue is a shovel, exhuming her father's last words from her grave body where his last memory rests with ease as she fulfills his last dreams. The early, robust life in Wadley wakes me. You are an earthquake in Haiti, shaking the morning dust from a country that is grieving. Your breath is a breeze that is healing, exhaling from a war in Sierra Leone. There is a lung on air, tuned into her strength. The radio shows her channeling airwaves in uniform. This pupil dilates at her desk where she sits like a bad habit with good reason, like the reason I write these poems. We carry words like lanterns, recharging breaths, running out of air. There is a man running out of hope. He holds the day at gunpoint. There is gunpowder in the dust. Bloody residue is the order of our good morning grass. The afternoon has a bitter taste in its lunch. It's the stench of a decaying soul begging you for your crumbs. His body is stale. He's running out of crust. The core of his insides are wilting. So he sells his children just to feed his demons whilst hearts attack each other in Egypt. People held under cardiac arrest for breathing. What's your excuse for giving up on life in Ethiopia? There is a man who is just about ready to give up his farm in a resistance to plow his baby sister's hand in marriage. There are acres of love growing in hearts like plants. Water the seeds for the deflowered generations to come. Do this for the little ones.
Loved it. Dealt